Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. No, it's been a while since I last posted. Just been busy with life and projects and whatnot, but we're back to working on the 59 CJ5. Today we're going to be installing a worn Saturn Overdrive. This is a new production unit from Advanced Adapters. They have the tooling and machining now to make these. I think they've been making them for, I don't know, probably 10-15 years or so. But anyway, this is the only source to get new ones and parts as well. So a little bit about it. It will go in any Dana 18 transfer case. It takes the place of your output gear, and it has a planetary setup, and basically it's a 25% gear reduction. It can be used in any range. It's fully synchronized. So basically it acts as a splitter. So you can have it in direct and then have overdrive. You can use it in low range, high range, it doesn't matter. So it's taking your 3-speed transmission and essentially turning it into a 6-speed. So very, very useful in today's modern roads. You can achieve 60 miles an hour with 538 gears. And if you have hills and whatnot, it's really nice to have an in-between. So this particular one, this is a 29 tooth for the later Dana 18s. On your CJ3B and CJ5, CJ6, you'll have to just verify that you have either 26 or 29 because they're not compatible. That would be really the only, and they offer both. So what it comes with is this particular kit came with the transmission mounted shifter. So this lever is going to be just like my CJ5. It's going to be right next to the transmission shifter cane. Really convenient because the original style was a real short shifter, and it'd be between your passenger and driver's seat and the floorboard. Kind of out of the way, but you know, also can be inconvenient. So for that, we're going to have to modify the top cover. So it comes with a new retaining ring and boot. And this is all the shift linkage parts. And then this is all your, end of the table there, all your small parts. So we got to put the synchronizer in. We got some snap rings, I'll show you. Oil scoop, bolts, all that good stuff. And as we go to install it, I'll go over more about it. You know, if there's more that comes to mind, this is just a quick intro for the video. But all right, let's get started. We're going to do this all step by step. The procedure for this, it has to be precise because this planetary is very expensive, and if not done correctly, can really cause a lot of havoc. And the price of these things, you need to make sure it's done right the first time. So, all right, well, let's get started. All right, hopefully the lighting's okay. Got the sun coming in, and it's a brisk January day here in Florida, so got the shop open. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and remove the inspection cover. So we're going to go ahead and remove the output gear. It can be kind of a pain to grab that cotter pin sometimes. So we won't be needing that anymore. So this should be 1 5/16 inches if I remember. Yep. Put the transmission in gear. It can be easier to use the impact. Pop it back in neutral, and then we have to just rotate to get it out. So here's the spacer for the nut. Here's the gear. So make sure you put this gear and nut and washer in a safe place, because if something does happen to your overdrive, or you don't need it or whatever, for whatever reason, you need to save your original gear, or else you won't have the means to drive the wheels. All right, so we got our planetary. So it's going to flip over the splines, and then this is going to be facing in, and this is going to be out. So we're going to go ahead and put that in over the shaft. All right. So if you look, let me trying to get the lighting right. So if you look in there, we're going to use just a half inch drive, and then we're gonna what is gonna thread on to the shaft and secure the planetary to the shaft. We're gonna go ahead and put the transmission in gear. So you can kind of see it go in on camera. Hopefully you can see it. So, all right, so we're at the end. It's nice and seated and firm. So now what we're going to do is we're going to torque it to 100 to 120 foot-pounds. I'm going to do 115. You need to use a torque wrench. Do not use an impact. Do not guess. Normally I'll say send it with the impact, but not in this case. So it actually does matter. So here we'll probably have to put the transmission in. Dang, it's just wanting to rotate the engine on me. There we go. Now let's go just a little bit more. All right. All right, so you can see it's fully installed. So now the next step, we got a special washer. So here's the special washer. This fits in between your spider gears basically, and it's got this tab, this locating tab. This is going to prevent it from backing out, and then also we have a snap ring that's going to hold that. So we're going to install this first. I'm going to have to probably get my fat head in here, so pardon me. But if you look in there, there'll be some milled slots for this tab to go into when you see it. So this is probably going to be a little fumble fest. It normally always is. What I've done in the past and what I'm trying to remember, it's been a while since I've installed one of these. Yeah, we're going to use a 3/8. Just use a 3/8 extension, and that's going to hold it on there. And now we got it. Now we got it in a groove. So that tab's in the machined part. Make sure it's pushed all the way in there. So now the fun part, we're going to take the special snap ring. I wish they included two of these snap rings with the kit because they're so crucial. On my personal one, I've had a fatigue here, and it's held me up on installing the overdrive because I had to wait on a new one. So you can either use needle nose or you can use snap ring pliers. I'm going to try it with the needle nose. I'll probably have to go get a screwdriver. Yeah. I was trying to remember all the tools I needed for this, so I didn't have to keep stopping and starting the camera. And this is a lot easier to do while it's there's no body on it. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab a screwdriver. All right, I got the screwdriver. Go ahead and grab it. This is probably this is the most time consuming part right here, is this stupid snap ring. As usual, you know, with any project that requires snap rings, especially goofy style ones. Alright, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to trade angles a little bit. So I'm going to have to swap the camera out position because I'm going to have to get in here. Alright, so got the snap ring in there. As soon as I shut the camera off, I had to get my big head in there and look directly in, and it went in. So now what you want to do, I already did it, is just get you a screwdriver, punch something, and just make sure you press, you rotate and press, and make sure that snap ring doesn't need to go in anymore. Because you can lay it in there, it's holding, but you really need to push, and because there is a gap between that washer and then the face of where we tightened it down, so you need to make sure it goes in there and you hear a click, and that's what I had to do. So it was enough to hold in there, but you still got to go around, rotate it, and press that ring and make sure it's 100% seated in that groove. So you can kind of see how this works. So this planetary spins separately from the transmission, so I can just simulate that with the by rotating the transfer case. So in direct drive, it's not engaged, so it's just a 1-to-1, and then when we engage the overdrive, this planetary takes over and acts as a gear reduction. So, but we're all set for the planetary install, so now we're going to install the case half. And I'll just show you what you got to do for that real quick. And before we do so, we'll go ahead and just make sure we put some gear oil in here. Alright, so I replaced the gasket with the one that came with it, put some aerobic sealant on there. So we got the oil slinger in, got the synchro ring in, got the actual hub up so it secures everything. So the oil slinger is going to go to where it faces up, so it has the oil kind of lay in it. Yours might have to be crimped a little bit to make it fit. So this is going to slide right in. Just a little bit of rotation. And we're just going to put 2 bolts in it to keep it centered, and we're going to just tap it in with a rubber hammer. Make sure you put some sealant on the threads of your bolts. Alright, so now that it's not going anywhere, we'll go ahead and put the rest of our bolts in. But we're not going to tighten them, so. And then on one of these bolts, there's a rubber seal washer. That's going to help prevent oil leaks. And that one is going to go, I believe, right here. Yep. So you can see it's got the rubber on it. Alright, so we're just going to give it some taps. And you don't want to impact these in. I just went real gentle with the impact, so this is just one-handed. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and install the shifter assembly. So we're going to start by removing these two top cover bolts. Alright, so here's the shifter linkage that we showed at the beginning of the intro. So it's going to be two spacers. I'm going to put one each there, and the kit includes two longer 5/16 bolts. They're going to go ahead and throw it in there. Alright, so here is our connecting rod, and it's going to connect to that heim joint back there. Probably the only con I'd say about this kit is, for some reason, they thought it was a good idea to replace the old fork style that was connected to the shift fork rod, because with that, it would go in here and bolt up with two bolts. It was really strong, bulletproof. But anyway, that's because the heim joint breaks, you're stranded. If you're shifting in between gears and it's in between, you're going to be stranded unless you get down there and hammer, you know, beat it in so it'll be in full direct the whole time. But you'll get home. Not direct, overdrive. It'll be stuck in overdrive. So I'm just threading on the yoke. We're going to put the yoke the yoke in, secure it with the pin. Put a cotter pin on it here in just a minute. So back here we're going to go ahead and put on our bolt. Alright, so I'm going to just go ahead and tighten up that, that's a nylon nut. Go ahead and tighten that up, and then, well, first let me see what the, oh yeah, we're going to have to do a lot of adjustment on there. So yeah, let me go ahead and I'll get this tight, and then we'll probably wind up, actually let me go ahead and back this out real quick and drop the nut. Just back that out just a little bit. That way, you know, we're not overstressing that yoke. So let me go ahead and get that tightened up and check in. Alright, so about to start it up and do the break-in procedure on this. I went ahead and slightly overfilled the transfer case. You want to do that because you need to compensate for the oil that's going to hold in that overdrive. So what we're going to do for the break-in procedure is, and this also goes for if your Jeeps, if you have one of these equipped, if you have it, it's been sitting for a while, I highly suggest doing this exact procedure. It gets all the oil flowing through the overdrive without putting a load and strain on it, so you're essentially reducing your bearing wear and everything like that. So what you can do is you're going to put the transfer case in neutral. So right now it's in neutral, transfer case in neutral. And then your transmission, you're going to put in gear. I normally put it in second. So we got that in second. And then I'm just going to put it back in neutral for starting. And then you're just going to let it kind of cycle and get that oil moving through there. You know, if for this break-in, we'll do it for about 5 minutes. But, you know, once it's broken in and you're doing this for, it's been sitting for a couple weeks or a month or whatever, it only needs a minute or two. So, because it's already going to be coated. So, alright, so we'll go ahead and start it. I'll just demonstrate it, and then I'll pause the video, and then we'll come back while the engine's running, and then I'll show you, we'll be shifting it and go from there. So let's go ahead and start it up. Alright, pardon the noise, it's just a fan going to help keep the engine cool. So, just a few minutes later, braking procedure is done. So I want to go ahead and put the transfer case in high range. We're in neutral, we're in overdrive, and we'll put it in direct. So it's going to be tight because this thing's brand new, the synchros, all the gears and everything. So if it seems a little crunchy, it's okay. It's just a brand new unit, and also that. So that's kind of aggravating, but whatever. So let's get the engine started back up. Oh, I'll hook my spark back up. Still in the process of breaking in the engine. That'll be a video later. Right now I'm just going to do first, then we'll go in the overdrive, and I'll just cycle through the gears. So that's a whole demonstration of how it works. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I got another demonstration video from last year, my personal Jeep, that kind of goes over it a little bit more in depth, but this here was the install. So so the next step here for videos, I'm going to do a video on the engine and breaking it in. It's been running for about 6 months now, but I haven't had time to do a video. So we're going to do that, and then I got a brake video to finish up, and then it's going to be the body install. So that's about ready for paint, and yeah, we're almost done. So alright, well, appreciate everybody watching. If you can, please like and subscribe, tell your friends. Check out Southern Jeep and 4x4 for parts, and that's got all my list of services I offer. So alright, thanks.